Welcome to the Training Partners Podcast. This is the moment I've been waiting for. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the moment you've been waiting for. We have officially made it to the 20th episode of the Training Partners Podcast. Top 1% podcast of all time.
How long have you had that?
I got it. I picked it up yesterday.
You picked it up yesterday?
I was like, "Oh shit, we're filming number 20. I got it. I gotta get this.
Do I have to do it?
I gotta get this. I had to get it.
You don't understand. You don't understand. Oh, there's a cobweb.
Oh shit. Cobweb called the.
So here's.
No, we've made it. We've made it.
We did.
20.
We did. Last week, when I recorded episode 20 with Sierra, we did make.
What did you say? What?
I thought it would have been out by now. This is episode 21.
No, the fucking ain't. Are you serious?
I don't know. We can do whatever. We could cut all that out. Like we could cut what I'm saying out right now and just go back to this.
You filmed number 20 without me?
I realized it after we went live. I was like, oh fuck, this is number 20. And I was like, Chris is gonna be really upset. But here we are now. We're starting. So Harv.
Well, happy 21st episode. Jesus Christ.
No, I think that was too good. I think we got to use it. That's really good. So just do the editing, and we'll be fine. Welcome to episode 20 of the Training Partners Podcast.
I have a secret as well.
What?
I knew that you filmed number 20 without me.
You. Well, that was excellent. That was excellent.
That was so much confetti. I really don't want to have to clean this up now.
Definitely a good clip for the socials or something.
Well, cheers.
How does it feel to be? How does it? You ever been in the 1% in anything?
Yeah, I know we're not talking about that this episode, but I think I was in the 1% in my most recent Hyrax race.
Okay, yeah.
I think
I think that's true.
Math.
I think that's true.
7 out of 400.
Yep. I was technically in the 1%, like as a weightlifter. Oh, like just if you do all population or whatever. Mm-hmm. But so there's that.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. But
this is a new avenue.
But we're in the 1%, not in the 1% of things that matter, like earning potential or social status or anything like that. 1% of content creators, podcasters.
Ooh, I like that term, content creators. That's a good one.
We're like creators,
Is the mess just bothering you so bad?
No.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
I like that you said it does not in something that matters like earners income. We're not in the top 1% of that because that's
because that's what
foreshadowing.
That's what we're going to talk about today. We did it.
We did it.
It's hard.
I don't know. This has actually been kind of fun. I enjoy doing this.
It's fun, and I look forward to it every week. But it's fun because it's just you and I recording, like formally doing what we do anyway. So
right.
And it's really fun. When we do I liked the one with your coach. Like I listened to that one. So I was learning about another kind of sport. So because I just guess I like learning, and it's adjacent into our field anyway. Mm-hmm. I loved getting to talk to Dane Miller. Like I think it's our most popular episode because Dane is such a popular figure. Or the one with Brittany. Anytime we get to branch out and do that, I think there's value. And then like we're learning too when we do those things, right? Like you probably really like talking to JJ, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think also it's good for our viewers too, because as much fun as you and I have doing this, they probably enjoy other things of getting new perspectives and getting new ideas and hearing new voices.
I agree. That's important. But a one like today, like the amount of work that's got to go into actually providing something of value is a lot.
It's a lot. So you started working on this. You probably spent 5 to 6 hours working on this.
For sure.
I mean, like you at least put your head in the books for 17 minutes nonstop working on this.
I definitely did 17 minutes worth of research across the internet. No, we used ChatGPT to help us consolidate some of the research, but verifying the research, like going into citations, having the idea, and then structuring the flow. Like it's a lot to. You're still actually creating, even when you're basically this compiling knowledge.
Yeah,
right?
because it's just a new form of getting the knowledge quicker, and it helps condense it for you, but you still have to sift through it and get what you want to use.
We could have ChatGPT'd this episode. We could have just put in the information, and it would have generated a podcast for us, for the listeners. We can even feed it our voices, and it will mostly simulate them. So,
but it cannot deceive each other like we have both done within the past 2 weeks.
Can ChatGPT not lie? It can be wrong.
It could definitely be wrong.
Which is kind of like lying.
Is lying being wrong on purpose, though?
It can position an untruth as the truth. It doesn't mean to, but
I think to me, that's what differentiates lying and just being wrong. It's like if you're lying, you're doing it on purpose.
But the problem is that, I agree with you. There's malicious intent,
correct.
in the lying. But the problem is it's like being taken as truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of an issue.
It's definitely an issue.
Yeah, it's fun. There were people I was listening to my history podcast, The Rest is History Today, and they're like in the 600s. It was like, I think I was listening to like episode 665.
Oh, you know what's next?
I think I would, yeah. On Queen Elizabeth and everything, and like they're like a real podcast, and they're very
1%.
They're very accomplished history people in their fields. Like they've published books and they actually have taught in academic settings and everything like that. And so now they've basically been acquired by a media company because it was successful. And there's more ads on it than ever before and all that kind of stuff. But do you think we'll get to episode 600?
I mean, at this rate, that would be
100.
I mean, what's 600 divided by 52?
Basically do one a week.
I mean, that's what we've been doing.
I think we've kept it up. So if 20, we're almost at half a year.
That's pretty impressive.
That's actually a crazy way of thinking about it.
That'd be 11 and a half years at this rate to get to 600 episodes.
I don't know. I want a podcast for 11 years, Chris. I don't know.
Yeah, and 11 years from now, I do not. I'll be 50 years old.
Okay.
There's no need for that.
Yeah. Do you think Young Harv will still be doing it in 11 years?
Well, if we're still doing it in 11 years, that means we have also been purchased by a media company, and they have taken, no offense, they've taken over your role. Unless they bring you on.
No, we're going to need to bring it. No, I won't. No, won't be acquired without Young Harv getting producer rights. So
yeah, she can get producer rights, but does she have to do anything?
Okay, well then you could hire an intern.
Yeah, so you get the credit without having to do the work.
We get you a mic. You could just be still doing this.
Yeah, you sit in here with us and chime in.
We'll see how long we keep going.
Yeah, but I doubt it'll be.
Well, for sure, a year.
Maybe I'll be able to celebrate the actual milestone next time.
I think I want to learn and think more about where does it go? Because it's definitely an avenue just for us to do this, and then as a result, kind of promote our services in the gym. There's definitely the marketing component to it, but I don't know. I like doing it, and it forces us to think and plan.
Yes.
It's like a deadline to actually look into something like we did today.
Correct.
And it's an opportunity to have,
you did the work today,
and then have conversations with people that we find interesting. So those aren't bad things.
No,
I just don't know. It's tough because consistently delivering, doing it every week.
Yeah, we're spending Harley, she works, she's getting paid for her time for this. But you and I, it's here's 3 hours ish a week.
At least,
it's not growing our business.
It's spent doing this.
We're spending time doing this, which we enjoy.
Enjoy doing it, but and what I guess what I'm getting concerned about is as it drags on, how much can we continue to push and actually offer educational stuff to people? Yeah,
I think eventually you're recycling information, and then you're also we just got to keep having new guests. I think that's the key. Honestly,
do you think the most successful podcasts they kind of do cyclically go over the same stuff? Right?
You have to. It's just like workouts. You know something works, so you do it again. Just like TV shows, I don't know, anything entertainment, they recycle because they know it works. So if it's hey, people really enjoy this information, how can we present it in a better way next time?
So to the 12 listeners, comment. I guess comment about your podcast listening thoughts, and we'd like to hear that and read that, because why do you choose? If you choose to listen to this, odds are you just know us and you're I'm going to occupy my time with that. sometimes we offer like actual value or knowledge, right? But like when you pursue listening and following to a podcast, is it the hosts? Is it the information? Is it something to fill the air? Like I legitimately want to know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I primarily listen to podcasts to learn.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
I do like half learn, half entertainment value. Cause like I do enjoy like the true crime podcast, but also enjoy some history podcast. And I'm actually like every day when I walk to work, I'm a podcast guy. I'm not a music guy because we have music on in here all day. So
yeah, when I drive, I'm probably podcasting, not music.
yeah.
Right.
I'm with Sarah. She likes to put music on, but sometimes we'll put a podcast on. She's very much into like political podcasts currently.
That's
so
that's the other part for me in my personal like tastes is like an escape. I used to listen to The Daily, which is like the New York Times published podcast. Basically pre-COVID, I listened to The Daily every day. I want to say, and then during COVID, it got really sad because it was COVID and it was just like the tone of the episodes were sad and we were just talking about not fun things. So it kind of brings you. It's that classic like the news reports on only sad stuff instead of positive stuff, right? What I've noticed since COVID is we're not in COVID anymore, but it's just kind of the same shit. And
they've seen that's what gains attention.
Yeah, and I get that's probably it. Is they're trying. This is the content that people.
I mean, I think
engage
even
with, but
they've said that about like Facebook algorithms is that they know you're more likely to engage with stuff you actually disagree with.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
So they feed you that stuff, not intentionally to make you mad. It's like their job is to get you to engage. So the algorithm has picked up that saying stuff that you're not, or showing you stuff that you're not going to agree with.
Quick pit stop on that because we do have a lot of stuff we actually need to talk about. But someone in our space, so in the weightlifting space, did that this past week. And what they want is me to talk about it, to share it, to disagree with it, to get anyone who's listening to this to then share and engage it. So I'm not going to do any of that. We're not going to link it. I'm going to go into the specifics. People can probably figure it out, and that's fine. But I'm not going to do any of the work to help promote this stupid take. And the take was eliminate the super heavy category from the Olympics. Non-serious take. Not like
they don't actually believe that.
They super don't, because it's if we're just being completely honest, if the point of weightlifting is to find the strongest person, that's the only category that should go there, because those are the strongest people. Like, it's not about weight classes or fucking formulas or any of this. It's like, no. We do the 100-meter to find the fastest person.
Right.
We do the marathon to find the person with the best endurance. We throw the shot so you could throw the farthest. We do weightlifting to see who is the strongest person.
Right.
And we've created weight categories to allow a wider array of people to be able to participate. And that is like leveling the playing field.
Yep.
But if the endeavor is who are the strongest humans on the planet, well, they are the biggest people on the planet. And like, we can talk pound for pound all we want, but it's super unserious take that you only do to do exactly
and
this.
I even think it was UI and one other person that shared that with us. And I don't think I responded, but my thought process was, the argument was, if they care about safety for athletes, then they should eliminate it because of that. But and they use the idea of performance enhancing drugs as like athlete safety is the reason they do that. But my opinion, I don't think they eliminate performance enhancing drugs for safety for athletes. I think they do that to try to attempt to level the playing field. I don't think they actually. I'm not saying they don't care about.
So they're saying this is an additional safety measure,
correct,
on top of eliminating drugs.
Correct.
But the people doing the take are two users of performance enhancing drugs. One of them literally in the contest that we're talking about.
Okay.
So I don't know how genuine that is.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And even I would say one of them would probably even argue, I'm going to stop. I don't want to speak for them, but is saying I can use performance enhancing drugs safely in my normal life because they didn't start using them and continue to compete. They were just doing it. So yeah, it's really just a take to do this thing, drive engagement. So if we have creators who are more, so New York Times, these people who are only producing content to clickbait you and hot take this and drive engagement that way, should we follow those creators? Like, should we take anything they have to say serious because we know objectively they likely don't believe this thing that they're saying? They're just doing it to engage and really to drive up like marketing revenue or push you to some other product that they want.
And I always go back to Andrew Hillier when I think of this, because like when he makes his videos, he even says, he's like, no, this literally is my job, is to get people to engage. Like that stuff is done intentionally because that is their end goal. And so like a lot of them will even admit that they're doing those things to drive the engagement. Like he tags athletes that he calls out for no reps just to like get them to like respond. Like that's the whole point of it. I don't think we should intentionally like put things out there that we don't believe in just to drive engagement, because like, yes, it would help, I guess, grow the podcast, but I think our intent is to spread stuff that we actually believe in.
Sounds like lying.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of lying.
Yeah. Untruthfulness.
I think that would fall under discipline within our core values.
Or trust.
Or trust. Yeah, we want people to trust what we're saying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Hate that.
Yeah.
My other thing, we're just going. Do you know like the common thing to do now is like somebody's face? It's like it's called a remix, right? It's just your face over somebody's actual achievement.
Yes.
Other least favorite thing, and one of my friends does that all the time, and they're doing it to drive engagement, and they feel that it's best to do this. He's not saying any lies.
Right.
He's just spreading around this athletic endeavor and then going to use the likes for it.
Yeah.
But also think it's dumb. It's like hey, check out this song that I didn't write, but somebody else did, and now I'm playing it.
So that one doesn't bother me, because it's like if you like the creator, for lack of a better term, and you're like, okay, I like the product they deliver, and they're giving me information or something that I will find enjoyable. I think it also helps the athlete if we're using like this space. So like, let's just, I don't even know if this person you're talking about did this, but the Olivia Reeves 500-pound squat, if the person did that with that video, it's going to help her because it's going to spread her achievement more.
Yeah, but it's really just utilizing their achievement for your social capital.
That is true.
So that's my problem with it. I guess when that becomes more than 10% of your production, which is really common.
Yeah. I mean, there's some accounts like that's all there. That
we should spread and celebrate. Like, fuck, I guess I should share. Like, that's huge. It's 500-pound squat. ESPN shared it. It's awesome. Cool. It's just great. We want exposure to the sport, and we want great people to be celebrated. But yeah, when it becomes like definitely a major part of your strategy, just to sell products, I think it's kind of bullshit. I think it's bullshit to take other people's things who you really had nothing to do with. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with like, if I break down, let's say, a session at Worlds or something like that, and like talk about technique or the strategy or something like that, like I didn't do those lifts, right? But we're talking about the finer points of it and trying to, and I guess I'm providing my perspective. They're providing perspective, but it's like weaponized in this really short form where you don't actually get into any of those points, and it's just like, hey, check out this cool thing,
right?
And it's like, okay,
yeah, that's true, because you can get that same point across by literally just sharing it.
Really just like don't like short form stuff. So, okay. On to the things we're supposed to talk about now that we've wasted like 20 minutes.
But there was Dodgers are back to back.
Just back to
North
World.
North America.
Nope. Champions
North
of the world.
Of the North Americas.
Nope. It's not. Nope.
How many teams are in South America that play in this tournament?
There are no franchises in South America. I don't know why they haven't started one or seen fit to compete. But
what about in Europe?
That's their problem.
This feels a little bit like when you say like universal champion. It's like just because no one else competes in the universe.
Champions of the world. It's called the World Series.
How many times?
Not the North American Series.
How many continents has the World Series taken place in?
The most important one.
Is it the most important one?
I don't know.
But in all seriousness, congratulations to the LA Dodgers.
I only want to bring it up because like our last episode together, I was like, oh yeah, Dodgers are going to win. And it was like, they're just crushing people.
You got nervous.
And I was like, that is like one of the hardest, one of the most, as a fan, stressful sporting things ever to watch. Probably the best World Series of my lifetime, and I'm not just saying that as like a Dodgers fan. Maybe I am, but I think it'd be hard to. There's one more I can remember like that I liked. It was the Diamondbacks were playing the Yankees, and because I was a big Randy Johnson fan,
that was a cool one.
and that was solid. That was like a battle. Right?
You know what's crazy about what year was that one? Do you remember? I do know.
Was it 04?
Nope.
What year?
2001.
Was it?
Beat the Yankees in
beat the
2001
Yankees
after
yeah.
9/11.
That was.
That was.
And I'm gonna be honest, I was rooting for the Diamondbacks.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah, because it was the Yankees had just done the three-peat.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, get over crybabies. You know what I'm saying?
But there was an 18-inning game.
18-inning game, multiple. I think 2 other extra inning games.
Was the 7th game? Did it go extra innings? Because the Dodgers were down, they came back.
Yeah, it went extra innings.
And then like that out at home plate was within milli-inches.
He almost didn't have his foot on it. It was crazy.
It was insane.
Yeah. So a lot of heroics. Sports are really cool sometimes.
Yep. And Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player of all time.
He's the best baseball player of all time.
Like,
I don't want to hear it.
He had a couple off games. He's the best player ever.
It's like any argument about Babe Ruth is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like you're literally playing in an era of unprofessional sports.
Correct.
It's just a bunch of beer league guys, and he happened to be the best of the beer league guys. I'm sorry. It's what it is.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay. But what we are talking about today, we posted a job, a new opening.
We did.
At the gym we called it the weightlifting head coach position. And that to add clarifying, like I got a lot of messages like people concerned that I was leaving or something. I was
curious
like
about that.
Yeah. I'm not leaving. I just have a job with USA Weightlifting that I love, and my career is growing in that direction, and I have a lot of responsibilities. So we need somebody here at our HQ gym who can just take, more work on, and bigger ownership of the program, so that we don't screw up the program. So that people get what they need and deserve. So.
Yep, I think we had noticed that our day-to-day members, we as a team were struggling to provide the management of those members that they deserve, like the relationship building and all that stuff, just because like we have so many coaches on staff every day that it's just hard to build relationships when you're only seeing somebody once a week, or even if their schedules change every 2 weeks.
Definitely.
So the main goal was to like fill that void, having somebody in here 4 times a week. And then also like helping grow the program, because there are times where you're gone for a week and a half, 2 weeks, fulfilling your USAW responsibilities.
Yeah, and it's really hard to be a good coach during those times, So we're looking for somebody who be here. We actually offer this to all of our existing staff, and unfortunately, a lot of our staff members they work in other places, and they want to continue seeing those things through. They actually work different jobs sometimes, so it's actually good about what we're talking about. We posted this job with what we thought, and what I'll say is, in weightlifting, absolutely a like industry leading salary for it. Like as far as effective hourly rate, it is not a full time position, but is a near full time. Like 28 hours a week was the projected scope of work. And then for anybody curious or care, like this is all out there. It's public knowledge.
Yeah,
is our base? I think it's 43,000 was our base.
Working 28 hours a week.
Working 28 hours a week, so not full time. And then there is a performance bonus, and there's opportunity, honestly, just to work more hours and get additional income.
There's obviously potential growth since it's not a full-time job. There's also some things that the things as like the semi-outsider of the weightlifting community is it's within a program that's already established. You do not have to come in and try to build a program.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big difference.
And it's not just a 10-member program we're talking about. We're talking about 4-time state champion program.
It is the largest program in these states and one of the largest in the country.
You're not having to deal with, because I don't even know if this job, how often a head coaching job is where you're not also the owner. So you're not having to worry about supplying equipment.
No.
You're still going to handle programming, so you're not having to worry about programming for now. That could definitely change.
Yep.
There was one other piece I was thinking, where you're going to be paid for all your travel to meets.
Yeah.
And I know like maybe times have changed, but early on in weightlifting, it was like, no, part of your job is you got to be there at the meet, and that's kind of fixed into your pay.
Yeah. I mean, just getting paid to do weightlifting. So first of all, there's very few jobs. Like this is a W-2 employee job. So there's very few jobs that exist in weightlifting in this country. Probably counting them on one hand.
Yeah.
Other than the owner operator, have to worry about everything, working a fuck ton of hours and going out of your pocket to buy the equipment, paying the rent, paying the light bill, buying insurance, all the stuff that comes associated with it. And like a lot of those coaches that do all that because there's no money left are essentially working for free. Like they
Correct.
will be, and they love it, so they don't care. Like, and they often have a real job, and it's fine. And this is just how they decide to spend their money and their free time. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we're trying to provide a job for someone to do, and acknowledging that they're not going to work for free. They're not going to be expected to go out of their pocket for travel, all this kind of stuff. So, and that's another, like, getting paid to coach at meets is a new thing, you know, like relatively new in the last few years. It was just the expectation of every great weightlifting coach I knew was, no, I'll be at the meet.
Right,
and not even asking for like travel costs. It's like, no, I'm going to be at the meet, and that's it. So we want to advance the profession to professionalize it, make it an actual job. I think we've done that so far. And this was kind of a next step in ensuring that like this was treated as a job. So all that to say, so we posted that job. I got probably like 6 or 7 messages from very good coaches all around the country saying, man, if I lived closer, I would move and take this, or if I didn't have my family or something like that, I would move. And I think that does reflect just the realness of it is still not, if you're pretty established in your life, especially if you have a home in this landscape, it's hard to start over, especially for this amount of money. Like, I'm not belittling the amount of money we're offering,
right?
But it's also a realistic look at like, yeah, it'd be hard to buy a new house at this level of interest rate when you've already had a home and maybe you have a wife and kids also. You might not, a lot of these coaches are probably honestly making less than we're offering.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have this huge like life restart kind of cost. They can kind of dig in where they're at. They probably bought a home when it was cheaper, or maybe even got a home through family or something like that. That's most weightlifting coaches, honestly. Yep. And so we didn't get too many actual bites. We're still going through this process, and we have a few people to interview coming up. But you posted the job, trying to just get more exposure, right, on Reddit, right?
Yep. So the Reddit community we talked about earlier, or the three of us talked about, was, I think there was some positive in there, but a lot of it is just like an easy place to be negative because like you're anonymous for the most part. So there's a lot of negative stuff that goes on in there. But I was surprised at like one of the first comments that was on the post was, how do you expect somebody to live off of that pay?
Yeah.
And I was a little taken back, but I was like, I expected, because we thought through this a lot, I expected there to be a lot of positive, like, oh, this is great to see like an actual opportunity for a coach to get a real job.
Yeah.
And I think maybe at both sides we're all out of touch of what the actual salary is for jobs in the industry and what it actually takes to live in the economy that we're in right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I had a very negative emotional reaction to that. And so that's why we're doing this podcast now, that's a deep dive in salaries across the industry, to try to be productive, be part of the solution. I think we're trying to do that and like educate, because it seems like there's such a disconnect.
Right.
Like emotionally, as a person who has spent, let's just say in the Carolina version of this, the last 8 years building this thing into what it is and living off of like less than half of what we posted this job for and working twice as much as what we posted this job for.
Right.
Like, I'm pretty fucking pissed, to be honest. Like here I am like thinking about it. Like when I was coming up, I'm like, this is a cakewalk. Like I don't even have to grow anything. I just have to like not get worse. Just have to do a job, like do the coaching.
Yeah.
Coach the athletes, have a good time. Like it's hard work. Don't get me wrong. You got to travel for meets. There is a growth component. It's very small, very reasonable. There isn't really like a sales component to this job. And like us owner operators have had to do all of that, let alone like take on all of the risk, the financial risk that like I've talked about before. And like for people, and I think one of the comments was reading between the lines, the owner doesn't want to do any of the work.
That's the one that made me mad.
And is trying to just get some schmuck. Like I'm paraphrasing, of course, to do all the work for him. I'm like, okay, I guess like the last 15 years of my life,
Yeah.
I didn't work at all, or
Right.
do anything.
And even if that was the case, even if you were like, I'm pushing 40, you're getting the old dog. If you're like, hey, I've been coaching for a long time, I'm ready to like have someone young step in. You've created a phenomenal situation to provide. So like you deserve, as someone who's built this, to continue to benefit financially off of this business that you have built.
Thanks, Chris.
And then you provide, like, I can speak about it from my angle. I think there was a lot of learning curve that we did with this. Like with my role started off here as I was just running a program. So within the gym, we have multiple programs. Sean runs the heavy metal barbell program. I run the No to Fit program. When I was hired, is it fair to say I had 0 members? I mean, there was a handful of...
5, maybe.
5.
Maybe.
Okay. So, but even then, it's like, okay, I was in a lucky situation of where like I did not necessarily need a high paying job at the time.
Yeah. We were lucky that you had other income.
Right.
That's why it worked.
Great situation. But I was able, over the past 5 years, develop it into a established program that actually does generate revenue now for the business. And so we're skipping that step. And it's like, okay, now you're at this 5.5 year point where like it's established and you get to jump in and just like keep it running,
you get to reap all the rewards of the work.
Yeah.
The work that was paid significantly less than what we're offering, I guess.
Right.
So that we could make this job possible. Right. So
and it's just, it baffled me that someone would take such a negative look on it. It's like, because I think people get confused or don't think about like one of your like goals and something you've done a good job of is creating opportunity for jobs within the industry.
Right.
Like you've said that so many times to me is like,
I think it's part of our vision, like the business vision and part of the plan, right?
Yeah. It's actually providing opportunities for people to make an actual living in this industry.
I want coaching to be a career, and it's really hard to do that, especially in weightlifting. It isn't a career in weightlifting. It is something that all of the best, oldest coaches did, basically, that I can think of that are alive, did other forms of work. So it was not a career. It was their hobby that they enjoyed doing.
And I think that goes back to a lot of, because I'm guilty of this, when you're just a member of a gym and you see it maybe semi-struggling and you're like, oh, I could take over and this would be so easy. Like you think running a gym is so easy.
Yeah.
So I definitely thought that before I ran my gym. I was like, oh, that's easy. But then you actually do it and you forget like how many different forms of leakage there is from the revenue stream when it comes to repairs, to rent, to the software you have to use, to all the stuff that just adds up.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes someone just walks into the glass window at the front door and
you're $1,000
and you're out $1,000. like that's it.
That literally happens.
Yeah. And it's not, they weren't trying to break in. It isn't like an insurance thing. It isn't theft. It's just, you're out $1,000. And that's how it is. Everything costs $1,000.
Like, literally everything.
And when you run a business, everything costs $1,000. So anyway, like that was our pretty disappointed reaction. And then the fact that, I had a lot of my friends and colleagues who understood that this is like, again, industry leading stuff for weightlifting. But they're just not in a position to do it because it's tough. So rather than just like have this be a rant and bitch episode, this is going to be an episode educating people on the professional coaching and fitness landscape. We'll say that. So a lot of this is anchored around strength and conditioning coaching. I tried to incorporate personal training and fitness coaching into here. And then Chris and I so I've been doing this 15 years. You've been doing this like 10 years, right?
12-ish.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So been in the industry a long time and like we've seen a lot of changes and we just have pretty good exposure and understanding of what pays are and what the work expectations are. But we also did some research and like are pooling, based on the data that's available now, like what our salaries look like based on the position, what the hourly expectation is for each position, what the career trajectory is for each position. So there's no real weightlifting data. So like we kind of already touched on that. So we didn't research that. Like I couldn't tell you.
I think that just goes to the point that there is so limited because would you say 90% of full-time weightlifting jobs are just someone who owns the gym and they're just also the head coach?
It's just the owner operator. That's it. You might have hired a coach. That's very, very rare for you to hire a head coach, actually. And then to be honest, there isn't enough transparency in the industry. Like us posting the job, the hours and income is actually pretty rare in coaching, because you'll see in the industry they're intentionally trying to take advantage of people and like not reveal that or do a wide range, whereas we were like very specific in what the hourly rate is, the hourly expectation, and then what the performance bonus and things like that would be.
Do you think that's posted intentionally vague because people posting know that it's a passion job and that people are more willing to be taken advantage of?
Yeah, probably. I'm trying not to go that far, but it seems that way. So what we're going to investigate is, are coaches underpaid actually relative to their education? Or is this just a realistic picture of the market? And I'm going to contend that they are, because what we'll see is trends that where higher education doesn't always yield higher salaries, unlike it would in any other line of work that I can think of. So since we have no weightlifting stuff, we're going to start with strength conditioning coaches, because this is what's most well known. The NSCA did a salary survey that was actually published this year, and we borrowed heavily from it, but we also have like citations from the Bureau of Labor Statistics on top of that. So, there's a couple different areas that you can work in strength conditioning. And so they're kind of summarizing it as you can work in high school. You can be a high school strength coach. You can work in a college or university, which is the most common. High school strength coaches are actually really new. And this kind of reflects the growth in the industry and the standardization, professionalization of strength coaches. There might have been a strength coach at a high school, but they definitely weren't certified.
Right.
And because they weren't certified, they weren't really paid. They were like a teacher. It was like your football teacher, your football coach.
It was the Cam Scattaboo that like didn't make it.
Yeah.
Like,
and now he's just
peaked in high school.
I can
Cam
tell you how to
Scattaboo.
lift.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So it's really that. So, that's a new thing, and there's new growth in it. We'll talk about it in a second. There's the college university route, the most common, the CSCS and the SCCC, okay, are the two certifications you need basically to work in a university or professional environment. It's actually like mandated by the NCAA. So unlike high schools, which basically until recently are fine with whoever doing the job, for insurance reasons and professionalization, they're like, nope, you have to be certified. That didn't mean that salaries went up necessarily at all.
I mean, you needed to spend more money.
Yep. There's professional sports, of course, as training got more serious. Every pro sports organization has a strength coach, sometimes even their academies, so their lower levels even have their own support staff. Tactical strength. So the profession actually started with human performance training. Like the concept of exercise science is born in making more lethal soldiers. And so it's interesting now basically in the last, 10, 20 years, tactical jobs emerge and begin to grow. So now it's like a formalized thing that the government will either directly hire or contract a company to hire. Our friend Stephen Butcher, that's what he does out at Fort Bragg. Then there's independent or private, which is kind of like what we would fall under, like as a business. That is somebody at like a private strength conditioning sport performance gym, like a D1, a Velocity. They also pulled people for the first time ever that are doing something specific to performance or sport science. And then we'll unpack that a little bit more. So to get started, basically the overall median salary for somebody in our industry, and this is across all of these jobs that I mentioned, is $74,000. Okay. And that's grown almost 7% since 2018. It's 7% annually, so it was a lot lower. We have some numbers on here on the table that are as low as $49,000, so under $50,000.
What year was that?
In 2018, so 2 years before COVID. Yeah.
So it's almost doubled in the past 7 years.
Not doubled.
Well, almost. I'm not great at
the
math.
trend is going up. No, because they're like so that's the median across all of them, and that includes tactical and then this new performance and sports science one. But if we're really looking at what salaries are at, we basically went from $50,000 in 2018 to $69,000. And that's high school and university. So for reference, this is important to know, the median salary in the United States is $66,000. Okay, and that's basically considered the actual average, not just, it's a little affected by top earners.
Yep.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that, the average person is making that,
Correct.
but it's about the median. Okay, that's good. These are $3,000 above the median salary. Granted, this data is from 2025, and I bet my median salary figure is like 2 years old.
Right. That hasn't changed.
So it's probably like bang on, like exactly where it should be.
Yep.
Right. You can make a little bit more money. So we saw professional sports strength coaches had an average of $98,000 reported salary, which, they're private sports organizations. And then like the top end earning for that can be like really substantial. So I think we've got our table down here.
Up to $1 million, wasn't it?
So yeah, someone signed $1 million strength coach contract. Before that, I think there was an $800,000 strength coach contract at like the University of Iowa, of all places. But essentially, if you're in
I could see that though.
If you're in a Power 5 football program, they noticed that salaries for football and
basketball
were higher. Yeah, they're higher than other sports because there's just more money in it. So you can, like, if you're in the top 10% of strength coach earners, you'd be at 90%, $90,000 to $100,000. There are those jobs that kind of seem to start like separating from everybody else. So if you're 90th percentile, you're only there. If you get into the, I don't know, let's call it the 95th to 90 to 100,
I say yes. That's got to be, because if you think about it, that's only the SEC schools, the Big Ten schools, and not all of them. Like the top 5 or 6 out of each. So we're talking very few jobs.
Yeah, it's not a lot. So, but you can earn, like, those jobs do exist, just like any industry. What's different is, so the tactical jobs are actually pretty decent salaries. They're up to $77,000, just short of it. Okay, so a little bit above the median. The independent or private are right in alignment with high school and college at $68,000 a year, and are traditionally a little bit lower. This new category, actually, I won't even touch that one because it's not a strength coach job. The sports scientist, it's a different thing. So those are the salaries, and they're in these different buckets. How does that make you feel when you respond to something like that, Chris?
I mean, honestly, those feel like livable wages as someone who's up. But I know where we're going with this, like the amount of time and the education that they've had to go through to get to that level. I don't know if that's going to equal that.
Yeah. So those are like median reporting, right? So knowing those, that's average. That's averages, right? Let's talk about how one becomes a strength coach in one of these systems a little bit. So you must have a bachelor's degree. So you must be a college graduate. Okay.
Yep.
You typically must have a master's degree.
To get, now we're talking to get within like the above median, talking top half?
Just to honestly continue to advance. So to go from like entry level to median, you basically need to have a master's degree. Because what we see, it's even reported here, the master's average is only $74,000 of people who have a master's or higher.
Right.
So it doesn't bump your salary too much. It's about a 10% increase in earnings, and that's it. That's the expected increase, which is, I think, different from pretty much every industry. It's now, I would say, kind of the industry minimum. So you have to have that professional certification that I talked about.
Yep.
So a CSCS is probably the most common one, because the other program is usually done like in a college, and they have to be buying into that specific track. But once you've got your bachelor's and you've got the certification, you are probably working towards the master's, because that's what you got to do.
So you're working full time and doing master's?
So you're doing a graduate assistantship, which this one has the average of a 10 to 25K stipend, which I don't even know if that's average. I would say bigger programs, maybe. I often see these as unpaid.
I feel like grad school is just literally free. You're paying to work.
It's unpaid all the time, and the pay that you're getting is the tuition reimbursement, because it's a way of getting. And on-the-job training is good. It's like an internship you're getting your education out of, and if you get pay for it, awesome. So it's not so bad from that point of view. The officially published limit, or the officially published projection for hours, was really cute for a graduate assistant. It says, like they can't work more than 20 hours a week because they're going to school, which I'll tell you right now, like if anybody listens to this, we have some strength coach friends. Tell me if you can think of a job as a GA where you only worked 20 hours. Cause I fucking can't think of one. I don't think there's a single one out there. Like that's just a bald-faced lie that they're publishing is like, oh, it's the official limit. And it's like,
no one's sticking to it.
No one does that. Once you get through that part and you've graduated, you might go up to like an assistant. So that's just another word for entry level of qualified person. And you're looking at 35 to 50,000 is the range for 60 to 80 hours of work expected a week, because you're usually doing multiple teams. The trajectory, let's just go with the top of each. 80 hours a week, 50K.
So 15,000 divided by 52 weeks divided by 80. That would be $12 an hour.
$12 an hour, or less than half of the hourly rate we offered, right? Okay, just checking. So yeah, this range. Our job posting was, but yeah, just to bring it back, like our job posting 28 hours a week, so less than half of the bottom end of this entry level job. 43 plus the bonus gets you usually, closer to 50,000 a year. So top end of this range for over less than half the work.
Less than half the work.
Yeah. And again, we're not asking, in fairness, we're not asking for an entry level person.
That is true. I was going to say we're not, but we're also not asking for somebody with a master's or a doctorate either.
Nope, not asking for that either. So,
and I would say they don't even necessarily need a bachelor's degree.
They do, as long as they're trained and can do this job. They actually.
I don't have a bachelor's degree, and you hired me.
It's a so it's just a little different thing. Once you get past this system, like I keep hearing this, that there's like a culture of paying your dues. Like this is thing that's beaten into strength coaches, especially the older ones. Is like, well, I did it, so you got to do it. Yep. And that's actually kind of part of the problem. Is that like we're going to continue projecting this system forward of just using and abusing people. And it's like, all right, you've got to do this. Like if you last, it means you really want it. You're going to be good. Yeah. I think that's kind of bullshit, to be honest, which is why we've never done that here.
Yeah. And that's the reason I didn't join a fraternity, because I don't want to and also I wasn't in school, but I think that stuff is silly. Just the excuse of like, oh, I did it, you have to do it. Like, no, it's okay to be the person for change.
Yeah.
I'm sure Obama has some great quotes about change that I could insert right here, but I don't know them off the top of my head. But like being the catalyst for change, being like, hey, this industry has had some not great practices. I think it'd be cool to take some pride in being the ones to make that change.
I've wanted us to do that. I don't want to just get, granted, like maybe in our industry, there isn't that ultimate return. Like I don't got a $200,000 weightlifting job that you're working towards. And that's
that probably never will happen too.
That will never ever happen. Yeah. That's a carrot we don't have, whereas they have the carrot of like, yeah, if you just keep working your way up, like you'll be the $1 million coach someday. There's only one of those jobs.
Right.
And there's probably less than 100 of like the 250 and higher, like salary earning strength coach jobs in the United States. So that's like 100 guys who can do that. That's it. So do you think
that you're playing the lottery is what you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, you've got
dues to pay the lottery.
It's generally like you just find a football coach who's going to be really successful and they're going to carry you wherever you go.
Right.
And if that's the thing you want to do, like that's
how much of that is luck? It's like being in the right situation.
Yeah, a lot of it's luck. I guess it's skill in networking appropriately and like betting on the right guy.
Yeah. And also, I think being good also does help because, like, correct me if I'm wrong if I shouldn't even talk about this, but like our friends who work for the Panthers, like they were on a good college staff.
Yeah.
And that staff did really well. And then that coach became a head coach first time as a head coach at the pro level.
Right.
Brought them with him. He unfortunately did not do good at the pro level, but they were seen as doing such a good job that they were able to retain their positions at the pro level.
And that is really, really, really rare.
So that speaks to how good of a job that they do.
Yes. Yeah, that means they're doing exceptional.
So like, while yes, there was maybe a little bit of luck of getting that opportunity, but
their quality of work. Yeah, and I think as we start having more of this next role we're going to talk about, you're going to see people like that stay on because they're demonstrating what the work that they're doing objectively, as opposed to just like, oh, that's my guy, that's my coach. He knows the lifty stuff. It's kind of how it's been.
Yep.
Forever. So that's a decent picture of the strength conditioning landscape. We didn't talk about tactical. We can save that for a little bit later. They are also strength coaches, but that is a person who's primarily working with a team of athletes for their non-sport training.
Okay.
Basically. Okay. That's what they're doing. Sport performance coach is a little bit different. This term is more about enhancing the performance of the sport. And so this is kind of in the sport science realm. So the NSCA survey kind of classifies this in the sport science bucket. It's the first time they've asked these questions. So there is no historical reference, but the survey gave back $86,000, almost $87,000 as a salary. So you see, once you go into this science analytics realm, the base salary increases significantly.
Yep.
So that's nice, I guess. But it's not the same job. These guys are usually almost always have a master's. Some might have a doctorate.
I was going to ask you.
A lot of them will have, they'll actually be data scientists. They know how to code. They could go drop into another business and set up, a data analytics system for that business if they just understood what the ask was, because they know how to manage
and
the
is that
information.
job very different? Is it less coaching, more analysis of numbers?
Yeah, it's kind of like being doing testing and being an advisor for the sport coaches and for maybe the strength conditioning coaches working part of the team. But higher salaries because more technical training. So maybe that means. So I looked into this also while I was researching. There's a certification. It's the equivalent of the one for strength coaches that the NSCA offers. It's called the Certified Professional Sports Scientist, if I remember right. I cannot get it. I cannot go sit for that test and have that certification.
You're not qualified to go sit
because
for that
my
test?
degree is not in one of the approved areas.
Oh, like kinesiology or something?
Yeah, it has to be specific to the industry. So like for a long time, again, this shows you for a long time, strength coaches could have a degree in a non-field related thing as long as they demonstrated the knowledge and they demonstrated it by doing the test,
right?
Basically. But they're saying, no, you can't even sit for this test unless you went into a program with a degree. So that's an extra barrier of entry there. So you have to be qualified for that. So good thing, I guess. I mean,
it's good for like quality standard work.
I think the reason you're going to see that is like I said, these guys need to be paid more because they can go do data analytics in other companies. And if I ran the Bureau of Labor Statistics expected salaries for data analyses per people,
I can promise you they're not going to work in this side of the industry.
Yeah, exactly. They're not coming in here,
Right.
working for these salaries. So it seems like they have to compete, but that's only in, you probably don't have this job at Queen's University.
Right.
Shit, you probably don't have this job at UNC Charlotte, like just to be honest.
Yeah.
So this is a big, again, D1.
Not even just D1, like you said, the Big Five.
Yeah, D1, probably Power 5.
Power Five's a term.
Probably the big money sports. I think you usually hire somebody, they might work a variety of teams. That happens. The Olympic sports strength coach is a thing that just buckets everything. These are these overworked coaches who just do all the teams.
Right.
And then you'll have like a football or a basketball person. So there's probably a equivalent person who does something like that. But usually this is tied to, hey, there's money to be made here. So we're going to start investing in this sort of role. Okay. Next we're moving into the fitness industry. I kind of want you to walk us through this one because it's like, I haven't worked in the collegiate setting or anything like that. I did work in like sport performance, strength conditioning setting, but you've been more in this role than I have.
Yeah.
So and you're probably, honestly, between you and your wife, you're probably even more familiar with what this kind of stuff, how it works.
So this includes private sector and fitness professionals. So we're talking personal trainers and group class instructors. So this for personal trainers, has them 45 to 60K, the median, and the top 10% can reach over 100K, which I was curious about that with some of the larger markets that has, I think we'd probably talk about the top 1%.
Yeah.
Like what
it
could
did
that
show
be?
if you were in a larger city that you would have higher. So you got the median there, the 90th percentile. So actually the top 10% was technically 82K. So if you made 82K as a personal trainer,
Okay.
you did it. But that is saying some people if you're in one of those markets,
Right.
would break the 6-figure barrier essentially.
So that is rare but possible. And then for the hours, a full-time personal trainer may train anywhere from 20 to 40 hours per week, which is a wide range. But I think that depends on like how many clients they have and such. And one thing we've talked about is that is not really sustainable, I don't believe.
Yeah, 40 hours of personal training isn't really a thing that
Correct.
someone can do long term.
Yeah. To me, it's because during those hours, especially for those high-end clients, you're not taking a break.
No.
Like you're there, you're engaged the whole time. And if you're doing that 8 hours straight, 5 days a week, like you're going to be exhausted every day when you're done.
Well, you won't have the time. I mean, we sound like we're bitching because there's probably like some construction worker out there who's like, soft hands, brother. Like
That's
I'm
true.
working 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
you know, or some shit like that. It's like, honestly, drop that guy into the fucking job and make them listen to somebody bitch about their fucking dog or whatever for a whole hour and see how long they last in the job,
Yep.
actually, because they don't have to do that kind of stuff. They don't have to show up on time, be presentable, be likable, write the program. Oh, by the way, write the program in advance.
Correct.
Okay, so unpaid work, essentially.
And then all the like, hey, I'm going to be traveling. Can we move my session?
Coordinate their
Mention that.
scheduling. It's like, no, they're just on a fucking work site, you know,
Yep.
not having to talk to anybody, being able
Right.
to do their own thing. Like that's the difference. That's the exchange in work that's occurring there. So like, I know people feel like, oh, it's hard to work 40 hours. Like
Yeah.
do 40 hours of do 40 hours of personal training, not
Yeah.
all the extra shit I just talked about and
Right.
and then talk to me.
Yeah, we'll provide the program and you just come do it and see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll even give you the clients and the workouts.
Yeah.
Just go do 40 hours of it and let's see how that works out for you.
It's exhausting. This does say they effectively work between 18 and 19 hours a week with clients on average. So that's probably more.
That's about
accurate.
the average time you're delivering sessions. Yeah,
Yeah, because you
definitely.
cannot do more than that. Steady hours with lower pay if employed, so like floor coaches.
Yeah, I think what they meant by it's like there's an expectation in like an Equinox or a Lifetime.
Correct.
That they're working the floor trying to find leads, like people that they're like, oh, you should try personal training. Like,
Yes.
kind of stuff like that. And they might do consultations. They might do walking around the place, right? So like there's a base pay usually of like only $15 an hour. But even when they get a session, the cut in those places, because that gym is doing a lot of the marketing and just the paying of the bills, they generally pay like a lower rate per session. I would say it's 50% would be high.
Right.
A lot of times in those environments.
And that's like you're just being a salesman too. And a lot of places do like, when you join a gym like that, you get one free personal training session.
Yeah, it's thrown in. You
So
know,
then you're also like, I don't want to say you're working for free, but you're given a session for a lower rate. with
you're giving a
potentially-
session to someone who doesn't value it. I'll say that.
Correct, because they're taking it for free.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the irregular hours with higher hourly rate if self-employed. So if you're self-employed, you're able to take a higher cut of what the client is paying.
You can kind of determine those are usually the places that might be a studio.
Or some that travel to the clients.
Yeah. Yep. Danielle does that. She travels to people. Or they can kind of set their own rates. So that helps a ton.
Yep.
Instead of being locked. When you're in an Equinox or a Lifetime, you're probably locked into whatever rate they're saying personal training is. But they're irregular. Like, as you said, PT occurs at hours that people aren't working, which
Right.
is early in the morning and
Late in the
evening. And it doesn't matter that you finished with someone at 9 at night. You still need to be there at 5 in the morning if that's how you're doing it, which happens all the time.
And there's a reason you typically see younger people as personal trainers for that reason.
Yes.
And then like you mentioned, program design and sales components are more than likely. So you're going to have to write the programs for the clients and then either working the floor or working on leads, trying to do some marketing to try to get new clients.
So I wanted to see what the trajectory, like I thought through was.
So masters trainers.
So basically the way, like what's the way out, you know, or if a strength coach goes from graduate assistant to entry-level assistant to head a big program, if that is the ultimate trajectory, like what's the way out? So this is kind of like something to talk about with your experience, because this is basically what you've done.
Yep.
People, they kind of market themselves as master trainers.
Yep.
So they'll actually become like head bitch of like all of the PT people in a big gym. So
Yep.
they are now training those trainers on how to do a good job in addition to continuing to fulfill sessions. They might focus on niche markets, like they might become a nutrition person. They might get a corporate wellness contract or something like that. But a lot of them do one of the last two things, which are
manage, transition to management within the gym, or open up their own studio.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my role here now as general manager, is managing the employees. And I will say that is a definitely a different job than working with clients.
Yep.
Because instead of having to like get to do the fun stuff of coaching, you get to do the manager stuff, which is dealing with employees. Luckily here we all have great employees, so it makes my job really easy. But I can imagine in some situations, especially if you're working with high turnover rate, an industry that has high turnover rate, younger employees, that can be a lot of work. But then if you focus on that second piece of opening up and owning your own studio, that's where I go back to like this situation being really nice for me, is that I didn't have to provide that money up front to build a building, to buy a building, to rent a building. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff, any of the equipment. So it's just like a kind of plug and play situation, which is very rare and great. But I think those opportunities are very unlikely.
They're just more difficult, right? Yeah. So what this essentially says about the industry is that the only way to make it long-term as a personal trainer is to basically not be a personal trainer.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I think you maybe foreshadowed that on purpose when you did say career trajectory, but you did say way out.
Yeah.
Because it's not a long-term job.
No.
I know we have a few, like Erica, for example, who was crushing personal training. She really, really enjoys it now, but she's just now hitting 1 year in.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something she wants to do 20 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, it works with her lifestyle and provides flexibility, so that's nice. It's a decent trade on money for time.
Yep.
Because of that, but yeah, you're not making a career out of it. I don't know. Like, I think I talked to you about this and why I wanted. I mean, it served the business, of course, and me to have you step into the role you're in, but also for you, like, there are no 60-year-old personal trainers, or there are very few of them.
Right. And I'll bet those are the ones that are like in that top 1%.
Yeah, they're doing really well. They're these master trainer roles.
Correct.
And in a way, they are now the mentors of the new personal trainers, right? And they're very established. They have probably some really high earning clients that are just really comfortable with them, and that's fine. So there are a few of those, but by and large, yeah, there are not 60-year-old personal trainers. It's not a common thing.
I guess the only other like out you could see is with the way things are now is online training. As if you're doing like nutrition coaching or something, if you're able to develop like an online platform to where people are buying your product remotely. Because I know there's so many apps now where you can just go on there as a coach / trainer and just write programs and sell them on there and do personal coaching remotely.
Yeah.
But then what you're going to be making per client is going to be very low.
Right. Yeah.
Just because the product's not going to not be as good as.
But you're probably going to be scaling it at a larger level.
For sure.
So
I think that's the goal, is to scale it up.
Yep. Well, that's PT. Kind of staying in that sector though is group fitness coaches. Let's see. I think we got 40 to 46 is the estimated median income. If you were top 90%, you'd be. No, actually, sorry. That's me reading personal trainer again. So, group fitness instructor is 40K. With top instructors between 60 and 80. And again, you have a few meeting the 100K barrier, like breaking through. Very, very rare.
Yep.
Majority of these people are part-time. I think it noted in the hours report, the average amount of hours a typical group fitness instructor does is only 7 hours. So it just shows you how like part-time they are in it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
But it also shows you it's not probably a serious or sustainable career for the most part. I want to ask you this. When I first became like a CrossFit coach and like I started, I thought it was a really big deal because I was a young person. Yeah. It's like, oh man, like, and this is a different time when money went further. It was like, oh, $20 an hour.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to get paid 20. And like, I might get paid more. Like,
yeah,
if I keep at this,
I get 22.
I'm gonna get more money. It was like a huge deal, right? When at the time in our lives, so first of all, when you worked for 77 before you absorbed everything, were you getting paid by the hour?
$704, but
Sorry,
you're fine. You're fine.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was same rate. I was $20 a class.
You were $20 a class.
$20 a
Okay,
class.
and that was even many years after what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
like this was like 2011, I think, when I was coaching CrossFit, and like it was like $20 an hour. So it kind of stayed stagnant.
Yes.
When did you start coaching at 704?
I started in it's either 13 to 15, somewhere in that range.
Oh, okay, so it was only a few years later. So not that big a deal. It's saying right now, average is $20 an hour for group fitness.
So like
it's 2025.
I think we've all seen the charts about like how much inflation has changed, how much cost of everything has changed, even if some people don't say that. But things have gotten more expensive. And then like as a society, pay has not increased. I guess the popular one to see is like cost of houses.
Yeah.
Like the average cost of house now is insane. It's like $400,000 or something just absurd within Charlotte market at least. But the pay rate has not nowhere near kept up. And then within this group fitness industry, it is not only is it not kept up, it is not moved at all.
Not really. I mean, it does say, you can earn more. This 40K figure, the median is probably a reflection of the $20 an hour thing. Mm-hmm. You're taught, the better you are. Like I remember someone telling me they were coaching CrossFit. I want to say it was $60 a class.
I can see that.
But it was in New York City.
Yep.
And there weren't like, there are only so many classes.
Yeah.
They might have like 3 a day, and that's it. So I don't know what the math is on that per year, but and that was fine because they were an exceptional coach.
Yeah.
They were really, really good. They were great with the clients. They had an energetic class. So you'll see people like someone, if people know Peloton at all, like Cody Rigsby is now this person. He's now like a fitness influencer. Right. I don't even know how many Peloton things he records these days. I don't know. I think he's recording something for like Peloton England to like expand to that market or something. Oh, wow. I saw something. I read an article like Tea Time with Cody Rigsby or something like that.
Speaking of, they have a High Rocks program now.
Peloton does? Mm-hmm. How would never? I don't want to go to that. So yeah, if you become the one of one Cody Rigsby, there's a way out. If you're a very highly skilled and highly personable coach, you'll probably do that. But these are very, very rare. So I want to say it's a reflection of the industry as a whole. Mm-hmm. When you're going to an F45 in ISI, a row house that's no longer in business here in Charlotte.
Orange Theory.
And you're dealing with people that are being paid around these rates. Because that's basically, if you don't take that, they'll just go find somebody else that will.
I think that's what's so common with these roles is that it is majority, I don't know percentage, part-time. Yeah. It's like, hey, this is because I see this so often now, my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5. Yeah. And it's like they go coach classes, get their workout in, and then go do their real job. I'm like, guys, that's not
they're
sustainable.
They're being overemployed. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, is that 20, even if it's $30 an hour, is that worth it? I mean, you have your 9 to 5 where you're probably making significantly more.
One would hope.
So you have that, and then also you have people who are making it their career, but because, like you said, there's only a handful of classes at each place, they're coaching at multiple places. I remember there was a spin instructor. Do you remember? Oh my God, it was Flywheel. They closed down around COVID, but it was my favorite spin class because they made it competitive. You'd get points for however many watts you put out or whatever. And so like me and these like stay-at-home moms, I was crushing them. But like this one instructor we loved, I'd go to his class and then he taught yoga at another studio like 30 minutes afterwards.
Oh, so you followed him around.
Like half the class would go take his spin class and then chase him around and go take his yoga class.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff he was having to do to make a career out of it.
Yeah, he works a lot of different places. Yeah. And most people in this industry do because they're only making so much.
And I don't think we even plan on touching on this, but like some places still have non-competes and don't offer you a 40-hour job.
Oh, they never do. I mean, which is bullshit. A group fitness instructor is never working 40 hours a week. So
there should never be a non-compete.
Yeah. So anyway, not a good place to be, just to be honest. And I think that's why, like, again, to reference our role, we're offering 50% more pay with, if 7 hours is the average, 4 times the hours that a group fitness instructor typically receives. Yeah. So yeah, kind of why I'm shocked, I guess, at the pushback to it. All right, moving on. We'll go ahead and hit tactical environment. This, again, relatively new. The median income for a tactical coach is between $75,000 and $80,000 a year. These are either actual government employees, which tend to have higher salaries, But that's actually pretty rare nowadays. Most of these are contractors. Like there's some company, I think one's called Circo now. The big fitness and performance brand Exos actually did a lot of this kind of hiring. So they would just get a strength coach who wanted to work with a tactical environment, and then you would do it. So the government employee ones, actually, I thought this was interesting. A lot of this is driven by there being like a blank check for the Defense Department to just have a coach, at every base with every, I don't know the unit, so forgive me, military people, like it's not squad or anything like that, but like with every company or something like that, like you only have so much of a division that you would work with, so there's like at Bragg, it's the largest military installation in the world. There are many strength coaches there working at that, just as an example. They're on the lower end of this salary scale, and they're contractors, and they are getting some form of benefits, but I don't believe they're getting like the cush government, really sweet federal employee benefits.
That's what I asked, if they get like the early retirement benefits and all that good stuff.
No, definitely. More often than not, it is like a separate benefits package that contracting company has put together.
Is that one of the reasons they lean or maybe do more contracting work? Is not the coaches, but like the government? Is it like because we're not going to have to give these great benefits if we just contract it out?
Basically, and then like, to be honest, the government's slow moving anyway, and it's like they're not really interested in coming up with the HR and the standards and the placement. Whereas like, hey, why don't we find, like, this is the thing with Exos. I don't know a lot about the new company, but like, hey, you guys are already positioned in the field as educators of coaches. I mean, really, Exos does a lot of the negative things we talk about, take advantage of people and get them low salaries, and they take a cut. So they're basically outsourcing the HR to a company like this to hire a coach, right? The higher salaries are actually with like fire, local police departments, things like that. So local kind of tactical populations, not federal government ones, those will get better paid, and usually come with the like local city or municipal benefits. So it's actually a good space to be in. And what's really honestly great now, if you can be exceptional, you can be a 90 to 100K earner if you started working with a special population. So if you're at Bragg and you're working with Green Berets, if you're working with Navy SEALs, I actually know one of my colleagues and friends works with the 75th Ranger Regiment, and that's what they do. So that's really fulfilling, I imagine.
I could see it.
But that's a very high performing unit that has more resources and money, and so those salaries are a little bit higher. So you could be one of these guys. You're not going to be one of the $1 million guys. You probably can transition this into some sort of independent contracting consultancy job when you're done. So not a bad career track, but maybe the best thing about it are benefits and stability of hours. Like all of these guys work 6 to 3 essentially.
Oh, that's great.
And then they're done
Yeah.
for the day. And there's no like, yeah, I need you to come in at 5 to set up for the first team. And then, you get a little bit of break. And then around lunch, you've got another team. And then you get a little bit of break. And then you're here for the, kids who are out here like in all day thing.
It's
like,
all,
nope.
it's all standardized.
It's a standardized 40-hour week with benefits and stable pay.
That's great.
And that's why so many people, including our friend and weightlifting coach, is now pursuing, that's what he does. He even though he's one of the largest weightlifting clubs again in our area and has like a pretty big remote following, he could not sustain a living doing that. He had to go take one of these excellent jobs. Yeah. So yeah.
You can't blame him for that.
I cannot blame him for that at all. So that's a route that seems to be better. It's kind of funded by the government, sweet government cheese, more or less. Last thing we've got is comparing these internationally. So these numbers are all...
Is that in U.S.?
These are all strength coaches. So I did the conversion here.
Okay, I see.
But these are just strength coach salaries. So it doesn't really apply to the like the sub-populations. These are just generalized averages. So think of strength conditioning coaches could be applied anywhere. In Australia actually has a really demanding and rigorous strength conditioning and sport performance environment. A lot of like, we would call them like the tip of the spear in like what the industry should look like. But so their salary when converted to US dollars, it's ranging a median range of 49 to 72,000 US dollars a year. So it looks like the median could be a little bit higher, but it also is objectively lower. In the UK, it's about 46 to 79,000. So even wider range there,
yeah.
but a lower, bottom end. And then in Canada, it's just low.
Just low.
Just low. 43,000. All of these again in US dollars. I think that just shows the general labor trend. Like salaries in the US are usually higher.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's also that, and also, do you think sports in general is more prioritized in the US?
I wouldn't say that about the UK. And Australia has its own sport, like Aussie rules is huge.
Yeah.
And rugby's huge.
That's true.
Cricket's huge. So I think there's more money. Like the most valuable sport franchises in the world are in the United States and are in Great Britain.
They're the soccer.
So yeah, you'll see that. What I will say is that the employment laws in these countries require there's definitely less independent contracting going on, which means benefits are a factor.
I say
There's just more rigorous employee protection laws in these countries than there are in the United States. So you would actually have to better define the working hours.
Yeah, that's also something that you very briefly mentioned is like the role that we have posted is a W-2 role. But most of these, maybe not most of these jobs, a lot of the at least group fitness classes and personal training, you're going to be like a 1099. So
yeah, I think
zero
the
benefits.
Statistics said it was like at least 40% are probably independent contractors.
Which is pretty high.
Which is very high. Yeah.
So like you're having to deal with handling your own taxes. You're not having insurance.
Oh yeah. By the way,
there's all this stuff you have to deal with. So another mark for
got to pay your own
challenge.
insurance, got to pay your own taxes, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So if you're in the UK getting one of these lower paying salaries, you're part of the NHS, so you don't have to pay. I think I looked at, if you were making about this median income, you would be paying at least $400 a month out of your own pocket for American healthcare. So like that's a $400 a month decrease in pay,
right?
So to speak. So
$4,800 a year.
Yeah, $4,800 a year. So let's just do it off the median number, 69,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 69,000 minus 4,800 is 64,200. So it's kind of just in the middle there.
Yeah.
And granted, like they pay taxes too. They pay. It's a different way of paying a tax. So I think that we're not getting the value of that money,
right?
In that way, but it is a big reason why salaries in other places are lower, because they have these other things that need to be provided, whereas we have to compensate people more because things cost more.
Correct.
Things like that cost more.
Yep.
Things like gasoline, way cheaper here.
Way cheaper.
Food, way cheaper. So,
healthcare,
like I said,
it's about to be way more expensive. Okay, but I think like main points here is like there is potential to make full-time careers out of some of these jobs, but the work that is required beforehand doesn't seem necessarily on the fair side. And a lot of times you're chasing a dream, but it's because like it's very much a passion job. It's something you do because you really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think that's something that people didn't understand when they responded to the job posting. Like if you're doing weightlifting or if you're doing anything in this coaching realm, you're doing it because you find it fulfilling, and you generally want to help people. You want to help athletes do better, or you want to work in fitness and you want to help people reach their goals and make their life better. And that's kind of part of the pay, and that gets taken advantage of in certain environments for sure.
Yeah.
So we want to be part of the change. We want to give people the opportunity to do this really rewarding job while offering an above market effective hourly rate.
Yes.
But there isn't enough money in the industry. I don't know what else to say to justify it. So yeah, does that say that our industry, I mean, clearly there's money in private sports or in the government jobs.
Yeah.
Going back to the NSCA salary, if there's actually a slide here on private sector salaries, and this is for strength coaches, people who would have a CSCS, people who would have a formal education. It's actually the lowest out of all the populations. Especially if you were doing team training at like a D1 franchise, you'd be expecting to make a cap essentially $57,000 a year, which is significantly below the other ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are going to take advantage, it seems, in the private sector of your passion, right? And then I think it also shows that it's hard to make it as a business, like as a private entity. Whereas when you're at college, it's a institution, right? You got tuitions coming in.
Bottomless pit.
yeah. And then the NSCA system's set up so well, like they're monetizing that a lot. Professional sports, like you're making money, like no disrespect to people, like costs a lot of money to do all that, you know. Apparently you still get $600 million breaks to build a new stadium or renovate one, even though you're a billionaire. We don't need to get into that, I guess. Yeah. But you know, that, as I've said here, to make this happen, there's a lot of associated costs and risk. And so you have to be aware, like, I can't just pour all the money into any one person or one thing. You have a responsibility to do something about it. And that isn't like me to get rich.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the salary to provide this new position is actually coming out of my salary, right? Like my former salary, right? So, I guess hopefully this was educational to like coaches already know this, help them understand what the career trajectory looks like, regardless of the industry they want to go in. And then our members to understand, not to pity us or anything, but like, it's like, hey, this is what you're paying for. This is what the industry is like. Yeah, this is why you pay what you pay. This is why we have things structured how we structure it, because it's still like not great. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're doing our best to change that.
We have a really good community who like understands that and appreciates that. And they won't. I think a lot of like some of the positive reviews we've gotten, even if they haven't been like Google reviews, if it's been like when we ask for feedback internally from our members, so a lot of the times we've seen is that our members really appreciate that our staff is taken care of.
Yes. We've gotten that a lot.
We've had to raise our rates before, and people are like, oh, I'm glad to see that it's going to the staff members to make sure that like they actually have as livable wage as possible that we can provide.
Yeah. And that's what the goal is to make it to where people don't have to go and work. We got a lot of people here that work 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I want as little of that as possible.
Yep.
You know, so that's what we're trying to make happen. So I appreciate the NSCA did this survey as a way of like initiating transparency in the industry,
which is good.
Which is a good first step. I think another thing, there's the Strength Coaches Network, which is like a private network of job boards. They basically give like the gold standard is a job that posts what the actual salary is. Who'd have fucking thought that you should actually post what
transparent
it should earn? So like those are things we believe in are trying to do as well. So now that you know all this, how do you feel about your career?
I feel great about my career. I feel like I may not be in that top tier 1%, but I'm definitely in the top 10% ish. Like I feel like I've made it to the role where I'm able to coach the amount I want to coach at my age and like not feel exhausted and beat up afterwards, and still like able to lead a program and like have fun with that. And I feel like insanely lucky. Like I think I've thanked you and Taylor a lot for this.
Yeah.
Cause like we hit our 5-year the other day with it, and I was excited because it's such a rare opportunity. If I could tell younger me and like anybody fresh getting into coaching is value your time. Don't do trades. Make sure you're getting paid what you should get paid. Because like if you take that lower pay, then that's just saying that it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's
the problem is that people are just accepting the slave labor GA job.
And even a lot of it is it's like, hey, I guess I'm speaking more from like the group fitness community. It's like, hey, I have a good paying job. I love this community. How can I give back? You can coach for free. That's who that actually is hurting is people that want to make a career out of coaching.
Yeah.
Even unintentionally.
That was gonna be my follow-up question. It's like, what advice would you give to someone starting out? How do you feel about bridging the gap? There's a separate survey of like expected salaries by generation, right? We talked about this before we started, but you know, like boomers think you only need so much money to live, and they're really fucking wrong.
Yeah.
You know, Gen X thinks you need X amount to live. Millennials are the first generation, I think, to dip. So it was like ascending. It was like going up and up. And millennials are like, well, I don't need quite as much as Gen X thinks they need to live.
Right.
And then the next one is Alpha, right?
Is it Z?
Is it Z? Or millennials are Z. Yeah. Oh no, we're Generation Y. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Generation Z. Alpha is the babies, right?
Yeah.
So Gen Z Gen Z's expectations are like skyrocket, like
Right.
way higher
They
than
made
everything.
up for us.
And in fairness, like they've been exposed to an environment where like there's COVID and there's incredibly high rising costs. There's more wealth disparity than there's ever been, basically in the last 100 years, essentially. So I can see why they would think, hey, I need more money, and like maybe we as millennials should be like, yeah, we deserve more. Doing what you're saying, you know.
Right.
But how would you bridge the gap between telling someone to value their time and also just flatly acknowledging like this is where the industry is, and there is this thing like, so when you started, I think we valued your time as best we could, but there was also the kind of incentivized expectation of like, hey, you're gonna get out of this what you put into it.
Correct.
So you did put in a lot of, like, just to be frank, unpaid work.
Yeah.
And it did bear fruit, and that's great. But like, I think we're now at this point where people don't want to do any of that unpaid work.
Right.
Because it's like, no, I should just be paid this like really high rate. And we didn't even go into answer that question first. And I want to segue into this next part before we wrap up.
Yeah. I think the only way to like really answer that is sit down and like understand what the situation is. And like, is this a situation that actually will potentially like an opportunity? Like if it's just like a flat, like, hey, this is a job, you're just coaching X amount of hours and there's nothing else to it and there's no like potential growth, then I think it's like you need to be strict with like, hey, I need to make X amount per hour, whatever it is. Find out what that is right for you. And then also consider the part of like, hey, am I taking a job away from somebody else just to do this for free? Because if you don't need the money, then maybe like, hey, I'll help out when no one else is available type of situation.
Oh, yeah.
But actually let someone that needs a job that would be good at this and take it on full time. But then if it is a situation where there's like my situation was where it's potential for like growth and the job can actually grow if it grows, then like be willing to make some sacrifices, because like in life you have to make sacrifices to get things in return. You can't just put in the bare minimum and expect it to return more than what you gave in.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way of bridging it. Is like, I don't believe in this abusive system where it's just, you know, the GA or even entry-level assistantship job where it's 60 to 80 hours a week at that job for very, very little pay. And it's like, we all went through it, so that's how it's going to go. Like, that's bullshit. Like that. So that tells me, and those are usually in university systems, by the way, but your business model is a failure because you were requiring this person, we did the math, right? A $12 an hour job. So you need to shut down your business.
Right.
The problem is that they're able to be successful as a business because people are fucking willing to do this.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know how we bridge the gap. And I would still encourage people to like take a chance on stuff, because there is that part where you've just got to do some free shit sometimes, or you've got like, it legitimately is professional development. It's where you develop your skills.
Right.
It's how you open doors and network, but yeah, also safeguarding your time,
Which is important.
which is really, really important. So being reasonable. And that's actually like why we landed on the hours we did. One, it's what we could afford as a business. So that's a very important piece, because that is what we could offer. But it was to not burn out a coach.
Right.
Because we understand of like what the investment is. We were trying to make it kind of reasonable, like a livable enough thing without burning them out. And then providing opportunities that if they want more, like they can do more.
Yeah.
Within what, again, we can afford, but it would depend on them making something of it.
Correct.
Instead of only providing. So I think that's where I would push back at like this kind of generational shift in, I just expect a really cushy thing for 40 hours worth at the rate that you're providing. So that's what I want to lead in and finish on is people with 5 years or less experience in this poll, the salaries from that. In 2018, the average was $32,000 was somebody in the 0 to 5 range was what the expected starting for a strength and conditioning coach. This is averaged across all of the industry sectors that we talked about. So pro, high school, private gyms, all that stuff. It is now up to an average of $50,000. So 7 years later, that's almost 50% increase right there,
18.
right? It's pretty close.
18 more $1,000.
18,000. Yeah, so it's over 50% actually increase in salary. So things have changed, but to put it in perspective, like that number's still below the median income.
Yeah, still.
You're still getting started in this, and like that is how it's going to have to be. We again are asking for someone with experience, but probably not more than the cap of this.
Yeah, I would say
honestly.
Yeah, if you've been doing this for over 5 years, you probably run your own club.
Yeah, you're doing your own thing. You're not interested in moving. So we're offering a job that is exceeding that.
Agreed.
By quite a lot, actually. So, okay. Any other thoughts or things you want to say?
No, I think that was good. I hope people got some insight out of it. Like you said, we kind of like peeled back the curtain, however you want to word it, like to see some of the numbers of within the industry, which is cool to see. Only other thing I had was happy 21st episode.
Happy 21st episode. We need to finish, but I'll say, take this if you're thinking about coaching in any, whether it's fitness, weightlifting, strength conditioning, think about what it really is. Like, don't go in it with disillusions. And like, if you really love this and you want to coach, accept that you're probably not the $1 million strength coach.
Mm-hmm.
It's really unlikely. There's only 100, 250 and above earners, basically.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying you can't be that guy, but just accept that statistically, even if you're excellent,
more than likely it will be.
You're going to end up somewhere with a median lifestyle, and it's going to take you a while to get there. So do it because you love it. Do it because it's rewarding, not because you think that, oh, this is going to set me up for life.
I think it's
because it's not the place. It's just not.
It's rewarding in multiple ways. You get to see people do better, achieve things, all that cool stuff. And you also, like, depending on the role, you get to travel and see cool things. So there is some cool potential in it, even if it's not the most.
My boss, when he was not a strength coach, he was a strength coach, transitioned to another role, a sales one, like a non-coaching one, for one of the largest corporations in America, was on the 50-yard line at the Super Bowl 1 year. And that's cool. An experience only he's going to have.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you get that in trade for it, unfortunately.
Maybe.
That's it. If you want to make money, be a data analyst instead.
Right.
And go get that degree, and that's it. So that's my closing message. But
okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Glad you're back.
Good to be back.
Okay. I'm headed to Chicago.
We'll see you. Yeah, good luck in Chicago. And when we come back, we'll have a big old High Rocks episode.
Let's go. High Rocks for the win.
All right.
Bye, guys.